Hi, guys. Well, it's my day off. Quite thankful for that today. Um, I had a schedule change. We are now doing 4 10-hour shifts instead of 5 8-hour shifts. So I have 3 days off and super happy about that. Um, so, kind of impromptu live stream today. I was out doing some yard work for my aunt and having my little chats with all my bird friends. And I took a break and I meditated, prayed, whatever you want to call it, reflected, and I figured with all the craziness going on in the world right now, and I am definitely sending healing and protection energies for the people who are experiencing Hurricane Aaron's wrath, or soon will be. North Carolina's been hit pretty hard last year and this year, with Helene and Milton last year. Now this one. In my opinion, based on my observations and research over the years, the geoengineering and manufacture of these weather phenomena correlate with the changing atmosphere of Earth herself. Earth is going through changes, and so is the environment. And not to mention, not too many people around the world are being too friendly to this planet and her environment. I mean, let's be real, let's be honest. So, where I live in, as many of you know, in Florida, and Florida is a tourist destination. Much of the coastline, groves, plantations, and other wildlife preserves have been annihilated to build casinos and condos and car washes and smoke shops and chain stores and dance clubs. Only thing is, birds and alligators can't really show ID to get in the door and prove that they're over 21, and they have a really hard time dancing in clubs too. So there's that. Hi, Alex. Yes, I have the brick wall, green screen behind me, because I was listening to that song at work the other day. Another brick in the wall. And we don't need no education. So we don't need no thought control. I mean, that song was telling you what it is. And I dutifully play my part every day because I have to have an income to survive. But I am very much another brick in this system's wall. I am a cog in the machine because I draw an income and pay taxes to the very beast system that I stand against. So I hate being a hypocrite. It's not in my nature. And I've had a very difficult time over these last 3 years leaving the homeless scene and returning to Egypt and going back to work. Half of me feels that I am still people pleasing and doing what society wants me to do, and have the things that other people have in this life, creature comforts, a car, little tiny bits of freedom, my necessities that I need. There was a time a few years ago, I didn't have shit. Literally, I had a couple of bags. I walked everywhere I needed to go, whether it was ice and snowing or extreme, I call it ball sack weather. It's like a sauna that it feels like you're suffocating. Alex, you were there on my journey at that time. And, I like having my creature comforts. I like getting in my car when I need to go somewhere. I like being able to afford the better brand of cat food for my cat because she deserves it. However, the other side of me is, as a mystic, and I don't know what to really label myself as, just doing what I do and I've always done, communicating with spirits, clearing energy, communicating with animals. I mean, there's just a lot of different things. I was born with a very, very aware sixth sense, ESP, extrasensory perception, having the feelers out there a little bit more than the average bear. And I call it my curse and my blessing. But at the same time, I was realizing when I was outside today, having my morning chat with all of my bird friends and doing some yard work for my aunt. And I thought, well, there's the proof for people that don't believe that animals are telepathic or that they have a very strong intuition. How else would they be able to just sense danger and know to react and either fly away, slither away, run away, or attack if they didn't listen to their intuition? So that's proof enough for me right there. And with intuition and having that heightened sense intuitively, that allows for telepathic communication. It's just signals of energy, like radio waves communicating. Like, for an example, when I am conversing with animals, let's say my parakeets, my birds, I'm shown things in pictures, not words. Obviously, they don't speak the English language or any other human language for that matter. They will show me things. And sometimes when I'm communicating with spirit energies, whether that's animal or otherwise, I speak out loud, because when I'm communicating, let's say with a spirit energy of my mom, let's say, who has passed, and I'll be communicating, obviously, as that is in spirit, which is not material, it's not visible to the eyes. The communication is happening telepathically, no words needed. However, because it's me and I'm talking to my mom, sometimes human avatar Jennifer will appear and I'll talk out loud. And my mom's obviously not physically here in the room, but nonetheless, I'm communicating. But with animals, the different thing is their speech is much faster and at a way different pitch than the tones of human speech. I hope that makes sense. Like, for instance, I'm going to give you the example. It's super embarrassing, but here we go. I'm here to share, and sharing is being honest and sharing my journey thus far and my truth. Okay, so here we go. And I think a lot of pet owners out there may understand what I'm about to say, because especially people with cats, anybody with a cat, you take on a different voice when you talk to them. Like for Luna, I'm like, yes, she's my bestest. And that's my cat voice, right? And here's my parakeets. They're outside on the power line now because I'm doing this video. And I could hear the birds. Anyways, so when I'm talking to the parakeets, let's say, they are fast. Their brains move like literally. So sometimes when I'm talking to them, and you may have even heard in my previous videos, I have a real high pitched like, oh yes, my little babies, because that's how it is presented when we are in spirit communicating. It's very high pitched, it's very fast, and it's very playful and funny and flitty, and I just love them so much. So I think when your personal energy resonates with an animal, another example, I wound open the umbrella in the backyard while I was doing yard work this morning because it was pretty hot. And some wasps were making their nests inside the umbrella when it was closed. And they were like flying around mad when I opened it. And I was like, oh, intuitively telling them, I'm sorry about that. I will close it. I didn't mean to bother you. Wasps, I've been stung by a wasp before. I've lived in Florida my entire life. So, minus taking some time to live other places or travel, but I've been in Florida since 1978. So, I've been stung by jellyfish, wasps, bees, ants, you name it, spiders, everything. So, however, swimming in the ocean, lakes and rivers, we have lots of creatures like sharks and gators and boars and animals that, although 9 times out of 10, they'll move away from you just as a precaution, they're quick to slash and attack if they do feel threatened. So, and those are predator species that can kill you. So, however, I have never felt fear. When I was younger, I did. When I was a kid, you're in the vast ocean swimming. You can't see what's in the water with you. And any fresh water you go to, there is a chance there's a gator in there. So, as a kid, you're a little hesitant, but then it's just your natural everyday life. So for me, I'm not afraid. And same thing as in, I guess anybody over 30 might know tuning an actual radio dial to pick up on a frequency. If you resonate in such a way with animals, like they know you're not going to hurt them or try to kill them or eat them or whatever we do to these creatures on this planet. You know, I've been homeless out in the woods. Pennsylvania, bears, wolves, coyotes, snakes, rattlers, all kinds of stuff. Here, same thing with snakes. I've never had a problem, ever. And I'm so confident, as a matter of fact, that I thought to myself, let me test my little theory right now. I'm going to let these wasps that clearly keep circling the handle because they're trying to communicate with me and tell me, please close it. We want to build our nest and have our babies. By them circling right by the crank handle, that was them telling me. However, even wasps, they didn't come at me. They didn't fly at me because I let them know, I'm so sorry. I'm going to close it for you right now. I sure walked right over there. I put my hand on the crank while them two are still buzzing around, wound it back down, and walked away. I have no wasp anything on me. So I'm very torn in me as a person, in my moral ethics sphere, which I try to be very much in integrity at all times, no matter what I'm doing or not doing. Minding my words, minding what I accept to listen to, minding what I accept my eyes to look at, speaking the truth, being a peaceful person who respects all life forms. I look at the state of the world today and all the little nefarious control ops and profiting schemes going on and social class superiority complexes going on. The constant, incessant building and constructing and laying asphalt and concrete, amping up the heating of our planet, cutting all the trees down, reducing our oxygen, and shade actually cools the planet. See, people think trees don't do anything. They actually filter the air, amongst all their other wonderful, beautiful, selfless, generous benefits that they give us selfish human beings, without ever asking anything in return. Wow, where's that in a person? Where's that in a human being? See, when you have shade encompassing the space underneath the tree, that tree cools that entire space. You could look at it in square footage or however they measure their things on this earth on how to build it, but cubic space, the tree actually cools that entire space around it and then filters the air to clean it, produces nuts and flowering fruits, amongst other things, to provide fertilizer for the ground to continue the cycle of growth and rebirth as it decomposes and fertilizes. Also providing food for the many, 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 many animals and insects that require it. Giving them also homes to build their nests and crevices to burrow into for protection and to keep their babies safe. And now criminalizing homeless people and shutting down encampments, which is the only place they have to go, because there's no room at the luxury inn for those lower class people, of whom I personally happen to be one. All these clowns, world leaders, nation leaders, need to pipe down with their superiority complexes, because before they know it, it will be them. When the tides change and the pole shift comes and the haves become the have-nots and such, that's what's happening in the grand scheme of things. So I can't really recall offhand what particular scripture it is. There are a couple regarding people who put so much faith and trust in their man-made idols and their money and their wealth. And they think, well, poo. Nothing can ever happen to me because I have all of this. Poo on you. But little do they know how materialistic they are. And what a shallow, what do you call it? What's that word? Temporary thing that they have. And how quick, just like that, it could be taken out. I just saw a news story about this Hurricane Erin taking out a house on stilts. And you know what that house on stilts did when it crashed and fell? Took out the house next to it on stilts. I'm sickened and disgusted that they won't release those files. And I'm not going to say that disgusting, corrupt name of that eugenics-obsessed creep who spawned his Island Boys and wanted a spawn of little didn't kill themselves in maximum security prison under 24/7 surveillance. That one, who's affiliated with all the other big players in the global elite game, because they're all in bed together sucking each other's dicks. And that's exactly what it is. And once one falls, they all do, like dominoes. So they fake a death, pay this one off, silence that one, whatever, murder, suicide. Like Isaac Kappy. I did a video on him on my old channel years ago when he was unalived on that bridge, because he started naming all these celebrities and their political connections in this big pedophilia, eugenics-obsessed global order. And he got killed for it. And all that man did, he admitted he had parts in it and that he had stayed silent. But at the very end of it, he did what was necessary. He risked his own life for the protection and awareness to save children, innocent children. And at the end of his video, before they offed him, all he asked was that we prayed for his soul. That's all he wanted. He said, just pray for my soul. And I did that because he deserves that for what he did. I don't hear a lot of these other celebrities how many attended the many Diddy white parties over the years, right? But they ain't got nothing to say, right? Yeah, okay. It's because they're cowards. They don't want to be put to shame in front of all the fans that idolize them and worship them now. And if that list, I don't like the word if. When these pedophile, child killing, child torturing, child hunting, child experimenting, animal effing, animal hybridizing, genetic eugenics obsessed psychopaths, when they're all finally put to shame publicly and held accountable for their many crimes, which they will be, because I'm speaking it into existence right now. It is so, and it is done. People are going to feel real stupid for having cried and screamed and drooled over pedophiles. I read in my Jerusalem Bible last night a nice little reference footnote at the bottom regarding ancient Palestine and how ancient Palestine was actually the original home to the native real Jews, the Hebrews, not the Rothschild created fake Jew nation. Not them. Not them. That's the rich global elite. The ones that crucified Jesus, I think in the Bible it's called the Jewish ruling class, not those fake ones. So by what's going on in Palestine today, in modern times, in 2025, is a ritualistic reculling and takeover, like the siege of Jerusalem. You know, it was the Romans and all that, but all these groups, they're all in cahoots together. It doesn't matter if they're a Freemason or Illuminati or whatever they are. Aleister Crowley, egocentral beast worshiper, or a developer of AI robots. You know, the things spoken of in scripture that are given breath so they can speak. They idolize these things. They idolize the golden calf, which is a golden bull on Wall Street, because that's all they care about, money and power. So Washington, D.C. has National Guard and police troops all over the streets where civilian people live, American citizens. Let that sink in. And if you think that alligator Alcatraz for Mexicans is where it ends, let me put a little bug in your ear right now as a Florida resident. Governor DeSanctimonious, as Mr. Trump used to refer to him as, opening a second detention center here in my home state. I want that shit gone. And so do all the gators. They're with me. And we want you, feds, and all your filth out of our state. Or maybe you can take a little swim in those waters. How about that? The things you know about governors when you grow up. He was born in 78. I'm 76, and we went to sister rival schools. He knows what's up, and I do too. Let's just say I know what kind of shoes he used to wear. Anyways, I'm sick of it. The wildlife is sick of it. The elements are sick of it. I look at this disgusting puke gray chemical sky every single day. I can't even remember the last time I got to see a beautiful Florida sunset. It's blocked every day while they're manufacturing their storms and drone bombing each other and killing children and binding them alive and burning them alive so that they can build their luxury golf resorts and casinos, right? I hate this evil empire. I hate it with every fiber of my being and everything it stands for and everything it is doing to indigenous people all over the world, the wildlife, the elements such as the water, medical waste dump, flaming trash in the Pacific, concrete jungle sky rises and skyscrapers, because they all think they have the biggest, right? Because that's what it is. It's this game. Who's got the biggest wand, right? My dick's bigger than yours. No, my dick's bigger than yours. I'll show you. Killing us all in the meantime. So what? So you could go rape another child? Go hunt one in Bohemian Grove? What? Cut down an ancient sacred pine for your Rockefeller fuckface Christmas show? I hate this celebrity culture world, TikTok world, where everybody gets their 15 minutes of fame and become hood rich real quick, but don't know how to act. Don't know how to act to this mother we live upon, who provides everything we need for free in abundance to survive: air, water, food, medicine, discovery in nature, materials. Why can't they use hempcrete? Why can't they use bamboo? Why can't they use actual minerals? Oh, I know, because it's called cheapification. They want to pay the lowest price at the cost of integrity and quality. That's vehicles, buildings, furniture, furnishings for your house, food, water in plastic bottles, chemical drugs by your local peddler MD. Electric vehicles with lithium leach fields, which are so toxic for the environment, instantly killing birds if they land on them. Mining for this resource and that, while children starve and die in the surrounding areas. So they can rape the land like they rape the mothers and rape the children, rape animals. And all these people get worshipped and idolized. "2025 is going to show people a preview of the chaos to come in 2026. Let me be clear about this, because when my revelations started coming back in 2018, and I started my channel back then, which got canceled when they tried to shut me down, the research, the intuitive insight, the matching it with prophecy on that timeline, blah, 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 blah. For years, I have lived this life, trying to survive in clown world too. The constant increase in the amount of energy consumption in every way, even this, on this planet, satellites, driving, everything, factories, everything, will only amplify what we have seen as far as cataclysmic events are concerned. Amplify. Now factor in the clowns out there like Bill Gates or the fake Rothschild created nation of Israel, Netanyahu, and all those clowns who actually have cloud seeding and weather geoengineering companies, okay? I don't want to look in my sky and see chemicals anymore. But all these power plays that are happening on this material plane, this planet right now, are only an after effect of what's going on spiritually. Out in the universe and within all of us. What I would suggest for everyone out there, be on the safe side, always. Have some emergency supplies, have some food, have a generator if you can afford it. I can't. Do whatever you can do. Full tank of gas in your car if you know a storm is coming or whatever it is. Buy some camping equipment. Have it on hand, a bug out bag, whatever that means to you. Get your family and friends' addresses and phone numbers. Get paper maps if you can still find them. Because there's going to be a lot of destruction. There's going to be a lot of ethnic cleansing, as the globalists call it. They want to get rid of the people who are in the way so they can take over the land, build their smart city grids, and all their luxury crap while they continually destroy this planet. Just like some of them did their own home world. So, yes, Alex, I have been banned on every social media platform, but therein lies the question that you gotta ask yourself. What's their problem? And what did I actually do wrong? Talk about my experiences, my research, my opinions. I'm allowed to do that. So why the clashback, the clapback? Gotta ask yourself that if you want to be real. And I do. So that's what they don't like. They like their fake world of lies and schemes and scams and colonization and occupation and oppression and slavery. I speak freedom. Real freedom. Liberating ourselves from this oppressive and disgusting empire. Have a great day, wherever you are in the world.